at the end of, you could say, the longest night of at least Sabina's life, but well, half the night hasn't really been part of her life. 3 of the residents of Spoke Hill would arrive back after Elysium, all in various ways drained by the evening. Certainly one of the most interesting Elysiums they've been to. Beneath a quiet, cloudy sky, just visible through the holes in the roof of the garden, crisscrossed and mostly covered by leaves. Anya would be sitting on a table to one side, feet up on a chair, sort of leaning back against the wall, having long ago dispensed with her heels.
Like Mason would have been quite quiet. Like he's usually quite quiet, but more so. And he probably would have just taken a seat and just kind of like lowered his head and just closed his eyes and just kind of listened to what was going on around him.
Anya would reach over to one of the plants next to her and pulling off one of the fruits, pull a chunk out of the pomegranate-like shape and begin to eat. As she does so, sort of pausing for a second and offering the other half to Sabina.
Thank you.
I imagine it must be nice. It's somewhere between. Not quite eating, not quite drinking.
Let me have a bite first.
And you'll need it waking up every night at tad tiring. More comfortable. You go to sleep well fed.
Okay. So that's taken. Mason, did something happen between Richard and Gerjo in your meeting?
Why do you say that?
Yes or no, please?
No. Why do you say that?
Richard didn't shrink away from him.
How do you know that?
Was there anybody missing from the meeting?
Priscus.
Nobody else? I had a quiet moment alone, and I went through it all again. But it felt super vivid. And it was like I was thinking, but kind of wasn't me. And I saw memories that weren't mine. Read of black eyes smelling like shioka. I don't know the word for it here. Some other interactions with kindred and that Maquette meeting. The only person I didn't see was Arvel. He knows.
Well, that's awfully rude of him. Digging about without permission.
How do you stop it?
It's one of the blessings of age. Little else till that. Aside from being powerful enough that no one would dare. Even if she wasn't hundreds of fucking years old. You can't imagine many people would be brave enough to go into Strauss's head, can you?
True.
Don't worry about him. I'll talk him out of forcing visions on you in the future.
He
You
won't be a
don't think he'll
problem.
spread it, do you?
He won't
You
be a
don't-
problem.
He has loose lips.
At worst, it's leverage.
I don't want Martina to think I've been spreading anything.
Well, now we know someone else that knows. He'll get the rap, should he do anything. There's not only good sides to being the only one with a piece of information. It's easy to blame. Do you want to emphasize that to him, or should I, Mason?
I'll talk to him. He might be a bit more receptive to me.
I've got to chat to him anyway. He's been sniffing around, trying to make the rounds with all the circle.
Has he?
Curious. Don't know whether he's doing it for someone, looking for something, or genuinely just looking for somewhere to actually fit in.
I'll talk to him as well.
I've got him coming over tomorrow anyway. But if you're willing to lay down the law, I'll refrain from threatening him out of it.
I can do that.
I think he's just trying to give me a heads up on how he sees things. But
That-
still, I said he kind of showed me memories of different kindreds, different situations. Young can be violent, old powerful, even people you thought were friends. So
Anything too worrying?
So, as I said, Reed, and a flash of him standing over someone. Gurgel staring down at Richard. I'd never seen Richard shrink away like that. And Shaw saying he'd bury him.
Shell's not all smiles. Be unusual if a Priscus were.
I had a quiet word with him. He seems interested in the circle. He said he used to dabble.
I didn't actually know that. Can't say I'm surprised though. He's lived an eventful on life.
He said he'd love to speak to you more. Just, hard in his position.
I'll ask if he wants to grab a drink then.
I'm sure you'll see him before I do again.
Most likely. He's trying to get the clan together anyway. A bit more unity, you know. Hell, we all need it. How about
So, how are you feeling, Sabina, after your first night?
I think we agreed that tonight wouldn't count.
that can all start tomorrow? You'll need to learn to hunt. You're a bit of a barfly. Probably best do it my way.
What's your way?
Humans are driven by a lot of very animalistic wants. Get taken home. Don't go to their home, obviously. But you need to, of course, gesturing to your surroundings. There's always food here. Can't support the whole flock, but you need some.
It's a good safety net, but I'll do my best to work, so
We'll train you through it. And it's nice to do it that way, socially. But when it comes to it, you need to be used to more than that. Mason, you willing to walk her through your way? Sorry, can we pause for 1 sec? Okay, ready to go, Young?
Yeah. If you're willing to learn and willing to listen,
what is your way?
I try and make it as painless as possible, but it's usually isolating people and sneaking around behind them and grabbing it so they don't see. I can't do what you do, either of you. So it's the best I've got. Does that bother you, Sabina?
I don't know if I'd be very good at that way.
Safer to learn now.
I guess if I'm in a pinch and I'm feeling hungry, better to nip it in the bud than lose control.
Aye.
So,
And if you know how to do it, when the beast's trying to get out, do that. And they can all go home safely.
it's nice that I guess Ryan's way seemed to be it's not always possible.
What's his?
He doesn't drink without consent.
Good to know, but best keep that to yourself. You can understand the risks. Of course, some people, those that stay here, well, if your bite's anything like mine, you can keep a few of them around safely.
You seem a bit conflicted about the prospect of hunting, Sabina.
It's a weird thought when I felt firsthand when somebody loses control. This makes it feel a bit more different.
I'll bet. Been a long few years since I've been on the receiving end of that. But that's why we're teaching you. You don't want to lose control. Nothing like that needs to happen.
How come your kiss feels so different?
A blessing the blood gives some of our clan.
Is it something that you learn, that you grow with time, or you just have?
I'm not sure. You should ask. God, there aren't any of us in the Ordo, are there? Ask one of them. That could be quite a novel discovery. I think I've heard a few who developed it. Don't know whether they got to intentionally or not, but it mitigates some of the struggle of being us. You'll feel it once we've got you hunting, but we get attached awful quick. We drink their blood, but some of their passion comes with it. You feed from the same person too much. We can't really be bound to a mortal, but close enough. Like I said, you get attached. It's best not to go back looking for seconds.
I'll try not to. But if you ever needed to, and how long does it take, before they can be drank from again?
No. Truth be told, well, either committed to it or not. Best not to try and toe that line.
Okay.
But
I was just wondering.
as burdens go, lighter than some.
What do you mean?
You've seen the Gangrel, the Ventru. Of course, who could forget Brothers the Nos? I'd say we get off lightly.
Well, you let me know when you want to go hunting, Sabina. We'll see how that goes.
Thank you for offering.
Well, Anya's right, you need to learn.
Mhm.
We've got plenty here that can teach. Have you got anything else to move in, or?
I've got a few things.
I can sort that out tomorrow night. Is the same room okay, or want us to find one?
If it's okay with you,
Of course. We've got the space. If you find one you prefer further up the building or something, you can just move into that instead, provided it's not in use.
Thank you.
She'd lean back for a second, putting her head against the wall and closing her eyes. Mason, I can feel you giving me side eye.
It's not necessarily directed at you.
Your eyes were. Sorry for assuming.
Something you want to say?
I'm just processing the night.
Yeah.
Aye.
But comparatively, well, I don't really have any reason to complain over you, Sabina. I do have a question, though, if you don't mind.
Shoot.
Did you really believe that you were going to stay alive for the next few years?
Yeah. Honestly, I wanted to be a girl for as long as I could. A decade at least. At least, if not longer. I even had plans to, go cold turkey once a year so I would age. And maybe it'd get to the point when that offer would be forgotten about. I don't know. But
You really thought that offer would be forgotten with how ingrained you made yourself in the court? Come on, you're smarter than that, Sabina.
I might have been great now, but give it a few years down the line, might have been like colourful wallpaper. Fading into the background a bit before the next new shining star.
She might
There's
have
no
had a
point
point.
thinking about what ifs.
No, I guess there's not.
We've got to make do with what we have.
Is there anything else I need to take care of before we sleep?
No, and you're right to have an eye on the sky. We're, well, can feel it coming on.
Why did you cover for Martina? What she did was wrong.
There we go. What else was I to do? You've never lost control. And what would happen if you lost control, would you cover for him? She says to Sabina.
Sorry, what was it?
If he lost control, if he did something he didn't mean to, would you cover for him? If he needed your help? Because I'd look after you. Both of you. Of course I covered for her. She needed help. She'll, well, it'll work out square in the end.
She needed help. She murdered this woman. Murdered her.
What, your beast has never gotten out of hand? Not once. As a matter of fact, she didn't murder you. You're still here, she says, looking at Sabina. She cut short by the part of your life that you should have had more of. And she's going to feel ashamed about that.
She killed me, and you saved me.
I'm just glad I was there.
Do you think, Mason, that she attacked Reed before me? Did you see his neck? He was missing a big chunk out of it.
I guess it's possible.
I might have caught sight of some of that happening. I don't know what happened to her that night, but suffice to say, she wasn't quite in the driving seat.
I don't want her to think I'd hold this against her.
Tell her that yourself.
You think she'll want to speak to me?
It might be a little awkward, but I don't think she gets to choose not to. Do you?
I think Martina can choose whatever she wants.
No, she can want whatever she wants. We don't always get to choose what we want. All right.
Mason would just kind of wordlessly, listening to all that, he would just wordlessly stand up and walk away and walk back to his room, not saying anything to either of them.
Well, he's right. We do ought to get under cover.
Sabina just calls night to Mason, kind of, half-heartedly. Just goes, yeah. You sure there's nothing else I should do? Gerjo said I might regret it if I hadn't sorted myself out before the next night.
From what I saw, you were throwing up plenty. It'll all sort itself out.
Okay.
I'm sure he will too. In time. He blames himself, for everything. He's always wrong about it. But What can we do but tell him that?
Yeah.
Right. Get yourself off. I want you to narrowly dodge Final End twice in one night. Come on. And sort of springing off the table, she'd walk over to the doctor, leaving you to exit the room and find somewhere to lie down for the day.